Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stephanie Bree, and I got another sort of cooking related video today, but this is not a food related video necessarily, or at least specifically. Basically, it is cookout essentials. What are the things that are necessary if you're gonna host a barbecue, a backyard barbecue, or a cookout as it's sometimes called? Well, for starters, you gotta have something to cook the food on. You gotta have something to cook. You should have some sort of side dish to accompany the primary meal, meat, whatever it is. You should probably have paper plates at the bare minimum, with plastic forks and maybe a plastic knife or two available, for spreads and cutting things. Those are your bare essentials, obviously. Now, there are... I'm going to offend people. I'm just going to say weirdos who like to cook with propane. And I have to say that is an abomination. If you're going to cook out on the grill, it should be charcoal. And if you're doing anything other than charcoal, you are not getting the flavor that God intended. But I just got a middle finger.
Why they have smoke boxes.
And, yeah. So that's your bare bones. Now, if you don't mind the lack of flavor, I guess you could use a propane. And Hank Hill is rolling over in his imaginary grave right now, but I don't care. But, at the bare minimum, you need something hot to cook the food on. And it should be a grill of some sort. But you don't need a grill. You can cook on a, you can get one of those, cookout thingies. A little, they have them at the park. It's just a little metal box with a grate on it that you can put something hot in, wood or charcoal or whatever, and cook that way. And, so you have to have something to cook, but the question is, what do you cook? Well, you can basically cook whatever the fuck you want, obviously. But there are some staples that should be represented at every cookout, regardless of what your compatriots are requesting. You should always have your bare minimums, hamburgers and hot dogs. Hamburgers, for a cookout, you can buy a box of frozen patties. It's acceptable. But it's preferable to buy a chub of ground beef and slice it and portion it yourself and flatten it into a pancake and cook it as a patty. But you don't have to. It's okay. At the bare minimum, you should also have hot dogs. Now, ideally, they should be all beef hot dogs. But you do what you gotta do. If you gotta cook chicken hot dogs, do it. I don't care. Just don't buy them at the dollar store. Get them at, Walmart or a gas station. Just don't buy dollar store meats because you will regret it. You'll have diarrhea for days, and you don't need that. Now, in addition to the hamburgers and hot dogs, you can also cook a steak if you're, wealthy and have that kind of money. Or seafood, like a lobster or a crawfish. Or you could do things like a shish kebab, which is, I don't know what a shish kebab is. I had it once, and I still don't know what it was. Not a fan of the shish kebab. I'll pass on that. If somebody invites me to a barbecue and they tell me we're having shish kebab, I'm going to say, are you also having burgers and hot dogs? And if they say no, I don't attend that barbecue. I'm sorry, I just don't. Because I'm not going to eat meat on a stick with vegetables. I don't think so. Hard pass. Now, you should also have sides. Your standard sides are either potato salad, possibly macaroni salad if you have to. I don't recommend it, but it's doable. Pork and beans, because you can just open a can of pork and beans and pour them in a bowl and they're ready to serve. Who cooks pork and beans? I've already done a video on that, you freaks. Don't cook pork and beans. They're not supposed to be cooked. And if they are, I don't care. Don't cook them. It's just... Don't. It's wrong. Gross. I can't eat cooked pork and beans. It's gross. Sidebar, I don't like baked beans either, but it is what it is. Anyways, or you could do potato chips. Now, if you're having a barbecue or a cookout of sorts, whether it's Veterans Day or Labor Day, 4th of July, etc., it should probably just be 2 varieties. Your regular plain Jane Lay's potato chips and your regular plain Jane Lay's barbecue chips. Don't bother with Ruffles or Wavy Lays. Don't get flavored chips like sour cream and onion or, I don't know, queso or whatever, because people ain't going to eat them. Don't even bother with Doritos. That is a way too messy of a chip for a backyard barbecue where your napkin is your shirt. You don't want that mess. And don't do Cheetos. Gross. Not that the Cheetos are gross. I mean, the mess they're going to make is gross. Obviously. I love Cheetos. You could also do a baked potato for a barbecue. Now, the way you do this is you take a fork and you poke 3 holes in the potato, and then you take a knife and you slit down the middle, just a slit, and then you wrap it up in tin foil, and then you cook it on the whatever heating mechanism you're using to heat. And then once it's cooked, you open it up very carefully with your fork and knife, and then you butter and top as necessary. Obviously a baked potato should be, butter, sour cream, bacon bits, maybe chives, maybe onions. Yes, I put ketchup on my baked potato, sue me. I like ketchup, and it goes on potatoes. It does. It's a potato topping. It's also a good meat topping, by the way. I know. Gasp. I put ketchup on my steaks. Oh, yeah. I really piss people off sometimes. In addition to the utensils, which we haven't talked about yet, you should have paper plates. You should definitely have napkins, but they're not necessary because people have shirts. You're outside. What do you care? What are you trying to keep clean? The lawn chair? Give me a break. It's got squirrel poop on it already. You should have plastic forks, spoons, and knives. You should serve some type of drink. Now, for a cookout, your drink you should have like a cooler with some beers in it, obviously, and a separate cooler with your your standard variety of soda pops. Coke, Diet Pepsi or Diet Coke, Mountain Dew, of some type of root beer, and then, like a Fresca or 7-Up or something for the people that prefer that type of drink, and you're good to go. But you should also have a pitcher of lemonade, iced tea, and possibly Kool-Aid. If you're going to do cookout and you're going to serve Kool-Aid, stick to cherry Kool-Aid. Don't get one of the odd flavors. Just stick to the cherry. It's the standard Kool-Aid. Don't make people, weirded out by you. Be normal, I guess. Not normal, but come on. Don't be abnormal. Don't be antisocial abnormal. Don't be a serial killer is what I'm trying to say. You don't serve black cherry Kool-Aid at a barbecue. Alright. Beyond that, you should have tables and chairs, presumably a picnic table of sorts, and probably fold-out lawn chairs. Maybe you bring out the couch cushions if you live in a crummy neighborhood and you got crummy couch cushions. You don't mind people sitting on them on the ground. If you're, really white trash, you can bring out the inflatables, like the inflatable raft or the big donut thingy that you take to the lake and sit on it, I guess. Or just throw down a blanket or a beach towel or something and sit on that. You're good to go. Or sit on the porch. Fuck it. But you should also have some type of non-meat product for the 1 or 2 vegetarians that are going to show up. Obviously you're going to have the potato salad, but you could also offer something like, like I mentioned, the baked potato, but you could also offer something like you know, like a fruit salad or a Jello, a bowl of Jello or something like that. Some kind of something or other. You're not at a potluck, so you're not gonna have like everything. You're supplying all the food yourself. You got to keep it under budget. How many friends do you have? You're not feeding the whole goddamn town. Anyways, those are your cookout essentials. Also, mandatory, you should have some type of boombox, not a cell phone, with a little speaker. You need a dedicated boombox playing music. Yeah, ideally you could hook it up to the Spotify or whatever, but you should also have like a variety of CDs for the occasion. I'll do a separate video on your Cookout Essentials playlist because it's a very specific playlist that is absolutely mandatory because it's the least offensive playlist, but also the most like variety without getting too far into the weeds or, upsetting the old timers while also boring the shit out of the young bucks. Stay cool.